Hello everyone, welcome you back to the science class. I hope you all are doing good. So children, as you all know, these days we are doing revision work of different chapters, okay? So today also in this session we shall be continuing with the same, with a new chapter. And then before we get into the depth of this new chapter, that is physical and chemical changes, let us recall what all we have done in our previous class. In our previous class, we have discussed the chapter acids, bases and salt. Okay, we have discussed the different concepts of that chapter. I hope you have understood that. So today also we are going to discuss this chapter, physical and chemical changes, in the form of a mind map. So let's start. But before starting the chapter, you need to know what will be the learning outcome at the end of this session. So at the end of the session, children, you will be able to understand about the different underlying concepts of this chapter. Clear? I hope you all are ready now. So let's look on to this side. Here, children, I have drawn one mind map related to the chapter physical and chemical changes. So the name is, I placed the name at the center, and these are the different branches coming out of this main heading of the chapter, and these are the subtopics of this chapter. So we shall be discussing all this in short, in brief, okay, since we are doing the revision work. So as the name of the chapter is physical and chemical change. So before we get into the depth of this chapter, we need to start with the word this change. What do you mean by this word change? So let's discuss what is change according to you. So change is nothing but, children, any alteration of a substance from its original shape, size and state is known as a change. Meaning, suppose you take a piece of paper. Let's take a small example. A piece of paper. Originally, this piece of paper will be complete, entire, a full piece of paper. I mean a full paper. Okay. But if I will cut the paper and I will make it into two halves, then what will happen? A kind of change has occurred here. Means some change has taken place. From the complete entire paper, now the paper, after cutting it, it has become two different pieces. So this is an example of a change. Alright. So as the definition says, it is the alteration of any substance from its shape, size and from its original shape, size and state is known as a change. Alright. So now in this example also you can see the originally the paper was entire complete paper. Now I cut it and I have brought about a change in the shape of the paper. So this is an example of change. I hope the definition is clear. Okay. So another thing is that, children, when you go out or when you move around, okay, you must have come across various changes. Okay, various changes. Let's start from our home itself. If you go to your kitchen, okay, if you go to your kitchen, you will find many raw materials, and that raw materials your mothers are using to cook food. Okay, that's a very good example of a change. Clear? Now, if you go out and look around yourself, you will be finding various different changes. Weather used to change. Yes, weather used to change. Then sometimes what happened? A small bud also it blooms into a beautiful flower. All right. Then sometimes the days and night, it also changes. Days change into night, night changes into day, and then some of the other example, like if suppose you cut some vegetables or fruit, basically the fruits, if you cut and left it open, you will find some kind of changes. Either the surface of the fruits will become brownish in color. Means the open area, the cut open area, it will become a brownish in color. So some kind of change has occurred. And if we will consider ourselves. Okay, if we will consider ourselves, we were quite different when we were at the toddler stage. Okay, now today, not only me, even you also, growth is a very good example of change. Means your body has increased the size. You were not the same what you were in class 1. Isn't it? You were in class 1, you were very small heighted. But now you are in class 7, your height has increased. So this is also a very good, wonderful example of a change. You must have seen maybe the small seedling being growing into a big trees. That is also a change. And if you take the example of setting of curd, okay, formation of curd rather, that is also a kind of change. You keep food for a longer period of time, it starts to give foul smell. That's also a change. So we can conclude that no, every now and then we come across different kind of changes in our day-to-day life. Clear? So in some of the changes, the original things we cannot get it back. But in some of the changes, the originality of the substance still remains there. So depending on this property, the changes are categorized into different categories. Okay? Some are physical changes and some are chemical changes. So in order to understand more, let's look the mind map. So children, just now I told you, these are the following examples. These are small, some examples, but you may get many examples. Fine. So some examples like growing of seedlings, blooming of a flower, burning of a paper, cutting of a paper. So these are different types of changes which we come across in our day-to-day life. So in this chapter, we have discussed about physical changes and chemical changes. So let's start with the first change, that is physical changes. Okay, physical changes. Now what are these physical changes? So now when we discussed about physical changes, we need to know it is something related with the physical properties of the substances. Okay, physical properties. Now what are these physical properties? So physical properties means the color of the object, okay, the shape of the object, the size of the object, and of course the state of the object. So all these things comes under the physical properties. Now physical change is a change in which the changes occurs in the physical properties of a substance. Fine? Means either the shape will get changed, either the size will get changed, either the state of the object will get changed. So this is all about the physical change, or rather you can briefly say that physical changes are those changes where no new substances are formed. Means the originality of the change, it remains as it is. Okay. Sometimes these are reversible. Okay, these changes are reversible, but in some cases it is irreversible as well. And these are physical changes are temporary change. Okay, physical changes are temporary changes, and it is for a short span of time. So here I have written already physical changes. It occurs when there is an alteration in the physical properties like color, shape, size, and states, and it's a reversible and temporary change. So examples we can consider: cutting of a paper, melting of ice, and formation of pure crystals. So children, let's take one of the example in order to understand that. Supposing melting of ice. Okay, it's a change in state. Okay, it's a change in state. Melting of ice is a change in state. Means from the ice can be converted into water. Water can again get back to the the solid ice. So this is an example of a physical change wherein the state has got changed. And state is what? It's a physical property. And here I told you that we get the original substance. Means it's reversible. Yes, in this case it's reversible. We get the original thing. We have started with the solid ice, and we end at the solid ice. Means we started with solid ice. Solid converts into liquid. Again liquid gets back to solid. So this is a very good example of a physical change. Now let us consider one more thing. If suppose we cut the paper. Okay, we cut the paper, there is a change in the shape of the paper, okay, or rather size of the paper. So the size of the paper gets changed, it gets changed into small two pieces. So that is also one example of physical change. Now what about reversible and irreversible thing in the physical change? So in some of the cases it's reversible change, means we can get back the original thing. But if suppose we consider the cutting of the paper, okay, cutting of the paper, no doubt the paper will remain as it is the paper, but we won't get back the complete entire paper. Even if we join it together with the help of some glues or stick together, still we won't be getting the original thing. So at some cases, sometimes it is irreversible as well. Okay, but it is very rare. Children, I hope you have understood that. So, but remember that the original substance remains same. We have started with the paper, we got the paper only, but size has reduced. Okay, so here also we can see that physical changes is nothing but it's it's alteration in the physical properties like the state and the size and the shape of the paper. I hope it's clear. So now next in this chapter we discussed about chemical changes. Now what are these chemical changes. So children, it is quite opposite of that physical change. So chemical changes are nothing but it's a change in which entirely, completely a new substance forms. Okay, even the properties also gets changed. Okay, a new substance formation occurs here with different properties, different chemical and physical properties. I hope you understood this. So we can summarize it by saying that it's a kind of change where a new substance is formed, and it's permanent in nature. Means the new substance which is formed, at any cost you cannot get back the original one, and it is the permanent change, and it is irreversible change. Okay, so let's take an example. Suppose we take the example of cooking of food. There are not many examples. Okay, so let's start with the cooking of food. So in cooking of food, what happens? Different raw materials, isn't it? We use different raw materials and we cook it. So after cooking it, we get the cooked food stuff. Okay, now from this cooked food stuff, we cannot get back the raw materials. Is it possible? It is not at all possible, and it's not reversible also. Okay, we cannot reverse that. We cannot get back the raw materials, and then it's a permanent change. So I hope it's clear. So there are many examples like setting of curd. No, here many examples like burning of a paper. Yes, burning of a paper is a very good example. Then burning of magnesium ribbon. That also comes under a chemical change. So what happens when we suppose we burn a piece of paper? Okay, we burn a piece of paper, we get ashes. So from the ashes we cannot get back again the paper, isn't it? So it's a permanent change. So this is a very good example of a chemical change. And one most interesting and very common change is that rusting of iron. I hope you must have seen that, right? So rusting of iron is a wonderful example of chemical change. Why? Because the color, the iron material, it acquires a kind of reddish brown deposition on its layer. Okay, so that is completely entirely a new thing, that is rust. Okay, that is rust. So it's a chemical change, and it occurs due to the chemical reaction between the metal and oxygen and moisture. The metal gets reacted with oxygen in presence of moisture, and as a result it forms a reddish brown layer. So that is an entirely new product, and it's a very good example of a chemical change. So I hope you have understood that. So children, now there are many things which we need to know about chemical change. You know, this chemical changes not only about these properties we are talking. Chemical changes, sometimes when chemical changes occur, it gets accompanied by various different changes along with that. Say for example, when a chemical change occurs, different kind of changes also occurs. Supposing if you vinegar and baking soda, if you mix vinegar and then baking soda, a kind of reaction occurs, no doubt, chemical reaction occurs, okay? And along with that, what happened? Some gases evolves, okay? Gases evolve, and that is nothing but the carbon dioxide gas. So there are different characteristics of chemical changes, means different things, okay? Different changes occurs while a chemical change is taking place. So what are those? We have written here some changes that can be observed while a chemical change occurs, okay? Number one, absorption of heat. Yes. So in a chemical change, there is always absorption of heat. Means what? Suppose you burn a piece of paper. Okay, we burn a piece of paper, it absorbs the heat. Okay, it requires heat rather. It requires heat, and then it's a kind of chemical change. The next is sound production. Okay, the next is, I have written here the sound production. So sound production means, that is also a sign of chemical change. Means when the chemical change is occurring, some kind of sound, if it produces, then that also is a chemical change. So you can take the example of bursting of crackers. Okay, crackers, basically when the crackers burst at that time, it produces the sound. So a kind of chemical change occurs. Okay. So the next is change in color. Sometimes the color also gets changed. If suppose some chemical reaction occurs, the color also gets changed. So in the textbook you have an example of displacement reaction, wherein the iron, it displaces copper, okay, from the copper sulfate solution. So there the solution from blue color, it gets converted into green color due to the formation of sulfate ions. Okay, so it becomes from blue, it gets gets converted into green color solution. So this kind of color change also says that some chemical changes occurring. Then next is change in smell. Okay, change. Here you see change in smell. So sometimes what happens, if you keep the food, I told you already, if you keep the food for a longer period of time, then what happens? It starts to spoil. It starts to give foul smell because some kind of reactions occur inside the food. Okay. Then the last is formation of a gas. Just now I told you, when vinegar reacts with baking soda, a kind of reaction occurs wherein the effervescence comes out, and that is nothing but the carbon dioxide gas. Clear? So I hope that all points are clear. Now towards the ending of the chapter, we got another two topics, that is rusting of iron and crystallization. So now what is rusting of iron? So rusting of iron is what? The iron acquires a brownish color layer or a brownish color layer on its surface. Okay, and that is nothing but the rust. And I have told you just now, the rust is a completely entirely new product which forms when the metal, if it is metal, specifically the iron metal, if it is left in open, then the metal reacts with the oxygen, okay, with the atmospheric oxygen in presence of moisture, and as a result it forms one reddish brown color. Okay, so that is rusting. And this rusting is the rusting can be, the iron material can be prevented from rusting. So there are two different methods. Either we can paint the iron oxides in order to prevent it from getting rusted, and then there is one more process. Okay, that is called galvanization. Okay, galvanization is yet another process which helps in preventing the rusting. So what actually is done in galvanization, what happens? A layer of zinc is deposited over the iron material, and it cuts the oxygen contact, direct contact to the underlying, the iron metal. So this is how it protects the iron metals from getting rusted. Okay. So similarly, if the iron materials, if they are painted, they also helps in preventing rust formation. Okay. So these are the two methods, and yes, there are two most important conditions which are necessary for rusting. Those are, number one, presence of oxygen and presence of moisture in the atmosphere. So these are two different conditions which results in rusting. Clear, children? So this was all about rusting, and last we got about crystallization. Crystallization, it's a process in which we can get the pure crystals from its solution. Okay, so in your textbook, basically formation of copper crystal, there is one activity which is written, and that activity is very much important. Okay, so crystallization, as I told you, it's a process of formation of pure crystal from its salt solution. So how this copper crystals, how copper crystals are formed? So in the book there is an activity. It is written that the copper crystals, are formed by the copper sulfate solution. And that too also the supersaturated copper sulfate solution. Means what it is done? First the copper sulfate is mixed in water. Okay, and then it is mixed, and then it's then we will then we need to boil that, and then some amount of acid is also added there, and then we keep on boiling. Then we will cool it. Once it gets evaporate, we will cool, and then we let the solution in some petri dish. We pour the solution in some petri dish, and after some time, what happens when it gets cools? It results in beautiful crystals, blue color crystals. So this is the phenomena. This is how we get the pure crystals from the solution, from the salt solution. Okay, so this is all about crystallization. So children, the salt crystals are also sometimes prepared by this method, crystallization method, and you see crystallization method is a very good example of a physical change, and rusting is a very good example of a chemical change. So I think this mind map is clear for you all. So again, let's look once again under physical and chemical change. We started our discussion with the term change. Yes, then we have discussed different examples. Then under this, these two topics we have discussed about physical changes, right? And then we discussed about chemical changes. We discussed about these properties, chemical changes properties. We discussed the different examples Then we discussed some of the changes which you can find while chemical change occurs. And then we discussed about rusting of iron, conditions necessary for rusting, and then at the end we discussed about crystallization. So dear children, this chapter was all about these topics. So I hope you have understood that. So thank you so much for listening to me. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you all in the next class.